Grab a seat at the campfire as we embark on the origin of Silver Surfer, Galactic Herald. Norrin Radd is from the utopian planet Zenla in the Denab star system of the Milky Way galaxy. He is the son of Jartran and Elmarad, and he has a half-brother, Fenin Rad. Zenla's ancient and significantly advanced civilization has lost the will to strive or explore, leaving the young scholar, Norrin Radd, restless and yearning for adventure. Facing the destruction of his world by planet-consuming Galactus, Radd bargains with the cosmic being in return for the safety of Zenla and his lover, Shalabal. Radd pledges to seek out planets for the World Devourer to consume as his herald. Galactus imbues him with a portion of the power cosmic, transforming him into the Silver Surfer. Radd has intended to lead Galactus to uninhabited planets, but Galactus tampers with his soul to prevent this. Radd serves Galactus for an unspecified amount of time. Eventually, the Surfer summons his master to Earth. Here, the Surfer meets the Fantastic Four and Alicia Masters. Touched by their nobility, he rebels against Galactus, who is eventually driven off. Before he leaves, he confines the Surfer to Earth with an invisible barrier that affects only him. During his exile, the Surfer fights numerous villains, including Dr. Doom, who wants his power cosmic, and Mephisto, who wants his soul. The Surfer's only ally during these trials by a psychist by the name of Al B. Harper, who eventually sacrifices himself to save the world from the stranger. Banding together with the Hulk and Namor during these wanderings, the Surfer forms the Titans 3, a group of dedicated to battling evil on Earth. Soon, Doctor Strange joins the group and it becomes the Defenders. Surfer stays with them for a while, but his overwhelming desire to be free of Earth and his frequent collisions with Galactus' energy-draining barrier eventually drives him to leave the group. Surfer finally pierces Galactus' barrier with the aid of Reed Richards and temporarily escapes Earth. He discovers, though, that his homeworld has been ravaged by Galactus and Shalabal has been abducted by the Mephisto and taken to Earth. Even though it means trapping himself once more, the Surfer returns to Earth to battle and defeat Mephisto. Before being vanquished, Mephisto sends Shalabal back to Zenla, but the Surfer manages to endow her with a portion of his power cosmic, which she uses to revitalize the planet life of their ravaged homeworld. After the Surfer aids the Fantastic Four against Galactus' latest Herald Terax, the Surfer eventually pierces Galactus' barrier by acting on a suggestion of trying to pass through on a spaceship instead of via his own power on his surfboard. He also makes peace with Galactus by rescuing current Herald Nova from the Skrulls. Galactus declares the Surfer's exile ended. The Surfer immediately revisits his homeworld, but Shalabal, in his absence, had become Empress of the rejuvenated Zenla and is unable to renew their romance. Embroiled in fresh hostilities between the Interstellar Kree and Skrull empires, the Surfer also intervenes in a series of plots by the Elders of the Universe, who plan to become supremely powerful by destroying Galactus and the universe with him. The Surfer thwarts this plot with the aid of his new love interest, Mantis, the Earth-born cosmic heroine, also known as the Celestial Madonna. She seems to die in the process, and although she eventually returns, she never fully renews their romance. After this loss, a grief-stricken Surfer turns to Nova and romantic feelings begin to develop between them. The Surfer's influence gradually leads to Nova to question the morality of her role as Herald to Galactus. Eventually replaced by the far more ruthless Morg, Nova dies in a conflict between the new Herald and the Surfer. And the other ex-Heralds, the Surfer repeatedly battles spaceborne menaces, the chief of whom is Thanos, who attempts to kill half the life in the universe using his omnipotent Infinity Gauntlet. Through Thanos, the Surfer learns how Galactus had altered his soul. He convinces Galactus to restore it. But once Galactus has done so, the Surfer is overcome with the grief until he is able to forgive himself. The Surfer finds interstellar allies in Adam Warlock's Infinity Watch and the Star Masters team. He begins attending occasional Defenders reunions. The Surfer returns home to Zenla to find that the planet has vanished and learns it was actually destroyed in the 1940s Earth time by the entity known as the Other. Zenla and his people, which the Surfer repeatedly encountered since leaving Galactus' service, were actually reproductions created by Galactus so that the Surfer would have a home to return to. Losing his capacity for the emotion again, the Surfer returns to Earth. He later regains his personality during a time travel adventure and sharing a romance with Alicia Masters. The two ultimately part as friends after many adventures together.